Okay, I'm going to call the Anchorage Election Commission to order. The time is 10 o'clock, and we are here at the MOA Election Center, and I'm going to ask for roll call.
Pat Abney. Here. Glennis Ireland. Present. Elaine Nelson. Here. Cynthia Hawkins. Here. Joyce Anderson.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Grabbing the pen. Need 'em. Okay, we're going to first of all introduce the two people that are here from staff. So Erica, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Erica McConnell. I am the Deputy Clerk for Elections.
Okay, and then we have Amy.
Amy Solberg is the Election Assistant.
Okay, all right, so we have two staff with us today. Before you, you have the minutes of the previous meetings, the meeting of the Anchorage Election Commission from August 5th, 2020, which is before you. And we also have one from the meeting of December 16th. So if you would take a minute, and look at the August 5th minutes. Basically what the minutes do is they go through the motions and who made the motion and whether it was approved or not. So I was not at that meeting. So if someone would like to, if you're ready to make a motion to approve. So approved, Pat moved. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Minutes of the Election Commission meeting of August 5th, 2020 are approved. We now have the minutes of the December 16th meeting, and that's where we discuss the amendments to Title 28. So take a minute to look at that. Okay, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of December 16th, 2020?
So moved.
Okay, Glennis moved, Pat seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Minutes from the two previous meetings are approved. Okay, do we have any old business? I would like to speak under old business. Okay, under old business, at our December 16th meeting, we did approve changes, amendments to Title 28, and it was on the agenda for last night. However, the assembly meeting went on and on and on and on, and finally at 11:20, we decided to adjourn. And hopefully we will be the first item on Thursday, because there's going to be Thursday again, where they will do this. So I will be speaking on behalf of the commission saying that we reviewed all of the changes to Title 28 and that we unanimously approved them. And then I just, similar to what Erica sent out that was in the letter that we were hoping would get published in the ADN. So I'll talk a little bit about those points. So I guess I wanted to bring that up. It was a very long meeting.
I received that.
Pardon?
I don't believe I received that.
You didn't. Erica, could you check?
I emailed it out to everybody 2 days ago.
Yes.
But I can confirm that I have your correct email address after the meeting. I'm having difficulties with my email. Oh,
Okay. Because I do say in the letter that as chair of the election commission, and I speak for all commissioners because I'm speaking for, what we did, that we unanimously approved. And then I also said at the end that we have said that the vote by mail process has proven to be very voter friendly and voter accessible. So I did put that in there as well. Did you have something, Erica, you want to say?
I can print a copy for Ms. Abney before you leave today.
Okay, all right. Well, I did want to bring that up under old business because, it was a interesting meeting. I don't normally sit and listen to assembly meetings, but I had it on while I was doing other things, and it was rather an interesting meeting. Okay, so that's what I had under old business. Under new business. Under new business, we have a nominate a chair and vice chair. So I'd like to open that up for discussion. I know that I have been chair for the last 5 years, and it's certainly been an interesting 5 years. So I'm going to ask, normally I think I would have called the commissioners, and just with everything going on, and got stuff going on too at home, by the way. So I did not, but is anybody interested in being the chair? Cindy? No, that head is going no. Glennis?
I nominate you.
Well, let me go around. Pat?
If you won't serve, I would, but.
Okay. Elaine? Well, I am willing to serve another year as chair if no one wants to. I really wanted to open it up for, to not sort of feel that I'm the only one that's chair, so that I could go around and ask. My other question is during this time is that, Erica, and I haven't looked at the code lately. 5 commissioners are what we have?
Yes.
We do. So we have a full complement.
Yes.
We have full complement. Okay. Well, I am willing to be chair again if no one wants to be chair, and I think I went around and asked. So, is there a motion to make a nomination for chair of the election commission for this year? Okay, Glennis moves and Pat seconds. And normally would ask, are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay. So I've been nominated to be chair. Should we take a vote for the chair first before the vice chair? Okay. Yes. Okay, Pat says she's going to pass a unanimous ballot that I be chair. Is there any opposition? None? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, we now would nominate a person for vice chair. I know Glennis has been vice chair before. And so is anyone interested in being vice chair? Let's start with Cindy. Cindy, are you interested in being vice chair?
No, but I would like to nominate Pat.
Pat? Okay. Okay, so Cindy nominates Pat. Is there a second to that?
A second.
Okay, Elaine seconds. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I think we can do a unanimous ballot that Pat Abbey will be vice chair of the commission. Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you.
Okay. I am not sure that we have any other business before us at this time, but I would like Erica, and maybe we could put that under comments right now, even though it says member comments. Erica, is there anything you can give us regarding an update for what's going on for the April election, community election?
Yes, there are several things I'd love to update you on. We have made a decision on our Anchorage vote centers to open 3 vote centers instead of 6 vote centers. There are 2 main reasons for only opening 3 vote centers. One is the number of workers that we that are willing to come work for us. That number, while better than in 2020, is still reduced. And the other reason is that the vote centers that we are not opening, which are the Mulvey Mall, O'Malley's on the Green, and here at the Election Center, historically have had a very low number of voters.
Erica, could you name the first one again?
The Mulvey Mall.
Oh, thank you.
So the 3 that we are planning to open are City Hall, Lusac Library, and Eagle River. To compensate for only opening 3 instead of 6, we are increasing the hours at our 3 open ABCs. So instead of closing at 5 o'clock on weekdays, they're going to close at 6 o'clock to allow people to come vote after work. And traditionally, only the Lusac Library has had weekend hours, but now all 3 ABCs will have weekend hours. So they will all have both Saturday and Sunday hours for that weekend right before the election. So that's the first thing I would like to update you on. The second thing is that we have worked with our mail vendor to mail out ballot packages to overseas voters 15 days earlier than the rest of the ballot packages will be mailed out. So ballot packages to overseas voters will go out approximately March 1st. Based on the last voter registration list we got from the state, which was in November for our postcard mailing, we have about 625 overseas voters. So we think this will be a benefit. They will receive their ballot packages earlier and will be, earlier or maybe just about the same time as other people because mailing overseas can take so long. So that should assist them in being able to vote promptly. The third thing I wanted to mention is that we are in the middle of processing a recall petition and for Felix Rivera, Assembly Member from District 4.
So they have turned it in?
They have turned it in.
Okay.
We are processing it, and we will have we will be certifying it. Now, you certify it as either sufficient or insufficient, but either way, you do certify it. So certification deadline is Friday.
Okay.
So we will be certifying it as either sufficient or insufficient on Friday. If it is insufficient, they do have an 11-day period where they can supplement it by adding additional signatures. So that may or may not be on, I can't say yet, I don't know, but that may or may not be on the ballot in April.
Once you certify that petition, then does it go to the municipal attorney's office to see whether it meets code, statute, whatever we have in our particular Title 28?
So that was done when the application was turned in.
Okay.
So it's already been through legal review, and legal has recommended to the clerk's office. They actually, when they submitted their application, they made they said that Mr. Rivera should be recalled based on 2 grounds, and the municipal attorney said 1 ground did not meet the legal standard, but the other one
I
did.
do remember that now, thank you.
Yeah, and you can find that, the memorandum on our website.
What is the time frame for conducting an election and for a recall?
So, if it is certified as sufficient, recalls are governed by state statute, so we're looking at the state law. State law says that the petition gets taken to the governing body at their next meeting. So it would be taken, so if we certify it as sufficient on Friday, it would go to the Assembly on January 26th, which is the Assembly's next meeting. If that meeting, if there is a regular election not sooner than 45 days, but not later than 75 days after that meeting, then the recall shall be placed on the ballot of the regular election. That happens to be the case.
Okay.
The April 6th election is between 45 and 75 days after the January 26th meeting. So, if the petition is certified on Friday, the recall will be placed on the regular election ballot. If it is certified as insufficient and they are able to supplement it to become sufficient, it would go to the Assembly, I think, one of the February meetings, but it would still be within that 45 to 75 day window, so it would still end up on the April ballot.
His seat is not up for election?
No, he was
Okay.
just reelected this year, last year, 2020. Other than those 3 issues, everything is moving forward smoothly as normal. Our envelopes and the like are being printed. We did order extra envelopes because it is likely we will have a runoff election for the mayoral election. That often happens, as I'm sure you know, when there's no incumbent mayor and you get, 10, 15 people running for mayor and nobody achieves the 45% plus 1. So we are preparing. Everything we do, we're preparing also for a runoff. And so our communication with the printer is good. Last night was the last night to submit ordinances for propositions. There were, I don't know, 5 or 6 bonds that were introduced last night, so those things will have public hearing on the 26th. The 26th is the last day for the Assembly to approve propositions for the ballot, so by the 27th we'll know what's on the ballot, and yeah, everything else is moving smoothly forward as usual.
Question? Go ahead, Cindy.
Erica, if in fact the roll call has to go beyond the 26th, how does that affect the ultimate design and printing of the ballot?
I think our final ballot design is due, I believe, like the 9th. So it's very, very close, but I think there's enough, that's when we give them the information, they send us back approved. We still have a couple days to look at the proof. So it's very tight, but I think we'll make it.
I also noticed that I received, because I'm on the list, but that you are asking for election workers.
We do.
So I do want to mention anybody here, if you know of anybody who would like to work as an election worker, please, let the office, what is it, Amy, let you know maybe?
So they would actually apply online, and
Okay.
They'd go to muni.org, and then on the right-hand side, there's a drop-down, and I believe it says what's new or what's happening or something like that. And so they can go to the Muni Job website, and then they just look for election worker. They can click on that and then apply online.
Okay.
And that posting closes this coming Sunday, January 17th at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So people should apply before 5 o'clock on Sunday. If for some reason they miss that deadline, or you don't talk to them till after that deadline, they can contact us. But we are hoping that we'll get enough applications to fill the jobs that we need to fill.
How long a period is that? This is a temporary job. When does it run from?
So generally it sort of depends on what the job is, but generally workers would be working from mid-March to the second week in April, except with a runoff. We would then need them also, in early May. So it's definitely, it's very different from the state, because the state basically needs you for one day.
Mm-hmm.
We need people for, several weeks. If they're working here at the election center, it's a longer commitment than if they're working at the at an ABC, because the ABCs are open for essentially a week and a half.
Go ahead, Glennis.
Erica, could you tell us again those 3 places that will remain open, the Lusac, Eagle River, and what is the third one?
City Hall.
City Hall. Thank you.
And the Eagle River ABC is at the Eagle River Town Center.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I have another question as well. I know with the national election, there was a lot of controversy, discussion, whatever. Did the Muni office receive any phone calls regarding that at all? Any concerns from voters about the upcoming election? Anything that they thought needed to be looked at or changed? Or did they call and ask, how is our election secure and that kind of thing? Did you receive those type of phone calls?
So maybe Amy and I can both speak on that, because we answer different phone calls.
Okay.
I have definitely received some calls from people who have said they don't want to vote by mail, and
Okay.
is there an option for them to vote in person? And we say, yes, there is.
Okay.
You can go to our vote center. A couple people have said, please take me off the list. I don't want a ballot mailed to me. The answer to that is, we cannot do that. But if
Right.
you do not wish to vote the ballot that is sent to you at home, you can destroy it and go vote at a vote center.
Okay.
So we have gotten these calls, but there haven't, considering how many voters we have in Anchorage, it hasn't been an enormous number. Not too many people have asked about election security. It seems to me that people have made up their mind, and so they just want to know, can they vote in person? They don't really want to know, how can I be assured that if I vote my mail ballot that the election is secure. I haven't had those questions.
Okay.
So I would mirror exactly what Erica said, and then I did have a few questions about the safety, security of the elections, and I had offered for voters to come in, take a tour. I offered.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, I offered to explain the process, just kind of like a brief, quick, each station of what happens with each ballot. And so I have had a few voters afterwards go, oh, okay, well, oh, all right. And but of course there are other voters that didn't want to hear that. They did just want to, they wanted an option to vote in person. We've always had that option at Anchorage Vote Centers, so I did let them know that. And but otherwise, I think the most of our calls were after we sent out the postcards. So I think that's probably the bulk of our calls. But other than that, we haven't had too many.
Okay, did anyone take up your offer to come and do a tour?
There was a couple people that said, oh, I'll bring my friends. And so I did ask them if they could call and make an appointment and, just kind of said those type of things. But I don't know if anybody's going to come in and take us up on that.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
always an option.
Nobody's
Okay.
come in yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also had a couple people ask about being a poll watcher or an observer, and so we did send out the observer handbook to a couple of different people.
Oh, okay.
So I am anticipating that we will have some registered observers at this upcoming election.
I would think so too.
Yeah, and that's great.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear because I'm sure the state received a lot more because it was a state election, but since we're moving into the muni, I would think people are now starting to move from the state federal down to the local level. So, okay. Any other questions from commissioners to either Erica or Amy?
One more question.
Go ahead, Sonia.
I guess it would be, you are now in the formation of getting your calendar all set up for the election, so you have the dates down, that type of thing. Is that something that we can look at, or that we would be made aware of, what the calendar is going to look like, what the dates are for your hard deadlines, when things are opening, that kind of thing?
So the election calendar was posted on our website in early December, and I apologize. I should have emailed it out to the commission, and I will make a note to do that in the future. But the calendar was set. It is posted on the website on the main election page on the right side, and I would also be happy to email it to all of you.
Then follow up, I know that we submitted our manuals last year, and I was wondering, will we have access to our manuals sometime before the election? No?
Thank you. That was, I'd forgotten about that, so thank you. And will that manual then be updated? It would be nice to wait until see what the Assembly does, if so tomorrow, approving Title 28, to have a new Title 28 put in that manual as well. Okay. All right. So, the manual. Any other questions? Okay. I know that I was not here last year when a lot of you came in to observe some of the processes that were going on, within the, the election process. I might want to do that this year, since because of COVID, I won't be out of the country. So, so that's why the manual will help. So also, if you could keep us informed, maybe if any of the rest of you want to come in again and observe some of that. I don't know. Pat, did you come in and observe some stuff too, or?
I did not come in this past year, but I have worked that election.
Oh, okay.
I certainly haven't changed it, I tell you.
Okay. So if you could just let us know, and like let's say, when you start getting ballots coming in, we could come in and see them, how they go through and into the different sections, where you approve it, and then those are you rejected, what you do with it, and all that. Maybe just shoot us an email.
Sure.
And let us know, and then if anybody wants to come in, we would let you know. I think it would be best if we're going to come in, not to just show up, but to let Erica know. Pardon?
And participate in the training.
Oh, and participate in the training as well, yes.
Also, in the past, we have invited you for logic and accuracy testing, and I know Glennis helped us with that last year.
Okay, yes, I'd like to sit in on that as well. So, okay. All right. Well, basically, I sort of jumped into staff comments. Now we're at the part where we have member comments. So are there any comments from individual members of the commission? No member comments. Is there anybody online? Do we have anybody that we know of? No, nobody online. Okay. All right. So if there's nothing else before the commission, and we have no other work that
I would
we...
like to make one comment.
Okay, go ahead,
If y'all
Bud.
could text me rather than send me emails, that would help. The Geek Squad and I are on first name basis now.
I've been there. Okay. Everyone else is receiving emails then and communication from Erica? Okay, all right, so Pat will do by text, okay. All right, well, if there are no other comments, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved, and it is 10:25. Okay, we are now adjourned.